Good afternoon, everybody. I've been asked a few times to remind everyone that this is an active firehouse. So if you hear noises, if something happens, if trucks come in, that is why. There may be an actual fire, but we're asked the chief not to let any of that happen today. So thank you. Hi, my name is Mayor Jenny Mundell. I am the mayor of Bloomfield, and it is truly my pleasure today to welcome you all to Bloomfield, New Jersey. I'm so glad that Mikie is here choosing to introduce her affordability agenda right here at the fire station, because the high cost of living here in New Jersey is an issue that is front and center for Bloomfield families. It's something I hear about regularly from our community members almost every day with their concerns. So whether it's our young people not being able to afford to move back here and buy their own homes, or our seniors not being able to downsize and stay in Bloomfield, it is an issue. We see families that are struggling to find quality primary care, and when they do go, they don't know what kind of bill they're going to be hit with afterwards. We all know that these challenges are challenges that all New Jerseyans face. And here in Bloomfield, we know that Mikie Sherrill is the leader who won't just promise to get things done, but she will actually deliver on those promises. Mikie has represented us in this district in Congress since 2018, and here in Bloomfield, we know that she gets things done. She's gotten things done with us for years. Mikie delivered federal funding to help us replace our lead service lines, to make sure our kids are drinking clean water without raising local taxes or putting extra pressure on the town's budget, and we are very grateful for that. Just this month, she brought the Army Corps of Engineers here to Bloomfield to help our regional flood mitigation task force evaluate how we can build infrastructure that will protect homes, businesses, and families from flooding. And she's doing that understanding that the town itself and the municipality itself cannot absorb those costs alone. She's not just another Trenton politician. She's different because of her military background. She is focused on the mission. Mikie builds broad coalitions. We know she brings people together. We can see that in this room today. And she stops at nothing to deliver for the people that she serves. We know in Bloomfield, and we want the whole state to know that too. So I am so excited for you all to learn more about the roadmap that Mikie has put together to lower costs as governor of New Jersey, and I am so excited to see her go from Congresswoman Sherrill to Governor Sherrill. Thank you. Next, it is my pleasure to introduce firefighter Addison Valencia.
Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Addison Valencia. I'm a proud firefighter of Bloomfield, New Jersey, and it's the community I also live in as well. I was born and raised here for all my life, and I plan to live here with my fiance to grow a family, but over the years it's gotten very hard. Let's be honest, living in New Jersey isn't cheap. Prices have gone up, rents have gone up even more. It's not possible. Right now I live with my parents because it's very tough, and we are currently in the process of finding a home for me and my fiance, but like I said, it's very hard for us. The market out there has gone skyrocket, and it's almost impossible to live in New Jersey on one income, two income household. I saw online about 2 months ago that we have a 2-bedroom apartment with 1 bath in Westfield that sold for $162,000 over asking price. That house sold for $860,000. That's almost $1 million for a small house in New Jersey. Me being a firefighter in New Jersey, and people who are retiring in New Jersey, it's just not possible to compete with that. I know that Mikie Sherrill will help us put a program in place for first-time home buyers. She will crack down on the bad actors and the rig rental prices, and landlords that don't keep up with their properties and stuff. Mikie knows it to her core. She's a ex-veteran, so she's as straight as an arrow, and she will keep her word on everything. Her plan will strengthen first-time home buyers to help people like me afford starter homes. And because at the end of the day, that's all we want to do. We all want to live the American dream, and my American dream is to live in New Jersey. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Brian Pinto, and I've been the owner of Tiffany Natural Pharmacy in Westfield for 20 years. We're a family-owned independent pharmacy that has been serving the community since 1957. But like many of the 800 or so independents across the state, we're asking a very important question: for how much longer? Unlike a lot of the big pharmacy chains, we pride ourselves on the relationships with our patients who have been coming to us for decades, and where we now continue to see their children grow up and raise their families and come to us as well. These patients are what we open our doors for. We have gone out into the community, held talks or immunization clinics at the local senior center, helped do Medicare Part D plan reviews free of charge for our patients so that they are certain they are serving as much as possible on their prescription costs. And more recently, as drug shortages have affected many pharmacies' abilities to keep medications for diabetes or ADHD in stock, we have worked to keep those medications available even if it's had a negative impact on our bottom line. But we've struggled with pharmacy benefit managers, known as PBMs, which are the middlemen in our healthcare system. And while most people don't know who they are, it's what they do that needs to concern us all. Virtually every family is touched by PBMs. They negotiate with drug companies, pay pharmacies, and help decide which drugs patients can get and where they can get it at that price. PBMs are supposed to help keep costs down, but in reality, they've done the exact opposite. They drive prescription prices up to about 10 times their original cost to boost their bottom lines. The biggest markups often involve generic versions of expensive drugs, even for conditions like cancer. A recent New York Times investigation found that they steer patients towards pricier drugs, charge steep markups on what would have been otherwise inexpensive medications, and at the same time extract billions of dollars in hidden fees. Just take a look at one example here in New Jersey, where one PBM wanted a 77-year-old retiree to pay $211 for a 3-month supply of the medication for his allergies, where he could have paid just $22 at Costco or a local independent pharmacy. It's not just consumers. PBMs are driving independent pharmacies like mine out of business. PBMs are responsible for paying pharmacies on behalf of insurers, but they're not paying us enough to cover our costs. They hoard most of it for themselves while giving generous reimbursements to the mail-order pharmacies that they own to make even bigger profits. We need a governor who will take action to protect consumers and independent pharmacies like mine, and Mikie's plan commits to doing just that. While New Jersey has taken a step forward toward transparency, there is more that can be done. She will work with the legislature to crack down and increase enforcement of the laws that are meant to oversee PBMs, addressing their payment structures that incentivize business practices that drive up their profits at the expense of patients, employers, and taxpayers' bank accounts. She will make sure that the discounts are shared with patients and not pocketed by the PBMs. She will also fight for independent pharmacies like mine. As PBM practices are forcing more of us to close our doors, they are creating pharmacy deserts that make patient access to their medications even harder. Mikie will ensure that PBMs can't shortchange us in favor of the pharmacies that they own. I know Mikie will work hard to reduce drug prices because that's what she's also done on the federal level. She worked with Democrats to cap insulin prices for seniors at $35 per month, and I know that's a huge difference that can make in a patient's lives. We need a governor who will be laser focused on reducing healthcare costs, and to me, it's clear that that person is Mikie Sherrill.
Thank you. My name is Chris Capers. I'm a resident of Jersey City, born and raised, father of 2. I'm a proud union member of the Laborers Local 3, but making a union wage is still difficult. I'm renting a 2-bedroom apartment paying $2,500. Also, I'm taking care of my parents that's on Social Security. If Trump and Musk cut Social Security, that's another burden to me. Although I do look to buy housing in New Jersey, specifically Jersey City, between down payment, bidding wars, and courts, it just seems impossible to buy. Mikie understands housing and she has a plan. No to hedge funds, buying up houses from families, first-time home buyer assistance, build more housing to bring down housing costs. Mikie delivered on the Gateway project, and she will do it for housing as well. I stand proudly with Mikie Sherrill. So my message to everybody is clear and direct. Let's get Mikie over the finish line, and that's why the laborers stand behind, and that's why we was the first to stand behind her. So let's get over the finish line. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ed Potasnik. I'm Executive Director at New Jersey LCV, and they don't know what to do with it. I'll give you an example. The fossil fuel industry, dirty oil and gas, receives federal subsidies from our hardworking families of over $22 billion a year. That's money that could go into helping us put solar across the state, which is the cheapest form of energy in America. That's our jobs that are creating right here in our own community, so workers can be put to work and their families can be sustained. Those are high-paying, high-quality jobs. And that's also putting solar on your own house. It's free energy, and that's critical for us. Clean energy is the cheapest energy, and Mikie's affordability agenda, I don't think there's been a conversation I've had since we've met, even when she was running for Congress and in Congress, where she hasn't talked about lowering costs for families across our state. And in the environmental space, lowering costs go hand in hand protecting families, protecting their bottom line. We're in a firehouse. It's not lost on me that when we have more frequent intense storms, more folks are getting washed out. Their business is getting flooded. Their home is getting flooded. So tackling the climate crisis by creating that low-cost energy in-state is critical. She's identified locations across the state on state land where solar can be built, and that's going to be excellent for our families. And one thing I want to mention, there was a bill passed in the New Jersey legislature, and it's so great that she's supporting that while also making sure we protect our communities. But it basically was a simple bill. If you have a gas station and you want to put an electric charging station in for an electric vehicle, you don't need to go even get a permit because it's already set up for that. And that's very cool, and that's a very streamlined permit. So we have to do that in places that make sense for us, that help to deliver the affordable housing that we need, the clean energy solutions that are going to save us over the oil and gas industry profits. And those are the kinds of solutions that Mikie Sherrill has laid out in this vision and will continue to fight for us. Another aspect, we're going to see, I guess in the next month or so, about 20% increases in our electricity rates. That's going to happen for all too many New Jerseyans. So I want to give you a fact. At the last auction, according to NRDC, if 30% of the clean energy projects that were available to plug into the regional grid were connected, the price we're going to pay in about a month would have been 63% cheaper. So imagine if 100% of the clean energy projects waiting in the queue had been hooked up. I would venture to say prices would go down. Mikie Sherrill understands that clean energy will drive down costs for families, clean up our air, and make us healthier. And I'm so proud to be here today and continue to support her. And as my colleague from Lyuna said, we got to get her across the finish line. And we're in it from today right through to the end. So thank you for having me, and thank you all for being here.
Well, thank you so much to everyone for joining me here at the Bloomfield Fire Station. I'm so grateful to Chief Venezia for hosting us. Thank you to our county executive for coming today. Thanks Addison, Brian, Chris, Ed, and Mayor Mundell for joining. You've heard from our speakers about some of the challenges that we face, and their stories are similar to what I've heard up and down the state for the last few months. I hear from voters about love living in New Jersey. I hear about how they want to raise their kids here, work here, and be able to retire here. But from housing to healthcare to utilities, life is just too expensive. Too many hardworking New Jerseyans can barely get by, much less get ahead. And then there is the threat from Washington. Right now, we have a White House that is undermining the very foundations of our economy. Trump has instituted a trade policy that will raise costs and attack New Jersey's largest trading partners, a policy that the Wall Street Journal has called the dumbest trade war in history. Elon Musk's Doge is hell-bent on cutting Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And just last week, Trump signed an order to dismantle the Department of Education, which will raise costs here in New Jersey. As governor, I'll confront those threats and stand up for New Jersey. But make no mistake, if we allow Jack Ciattarelli or Bill Spadea to become governor, they will bring that same chaos and destruction to New Jersey. We simply can't afford that. But I know New Jersey can chart a different path forward. That's why today I'm introducing my affordability agenda, a roadmap for how my administration will make bold investments to lower costs for working families in the Garden State, while also protecting us from bad actors who take advantage of working people. Recently, I spoke to a young couple looking to buy their first home. The young man grew up in Livingston and wants to move back near his hometown and his parents. He wants to buy a house and start a family while living close by. But he's now living over an hour away because even after bidding for houses far over his budget, he simply could not afford a place nearby. I've heard from a retiree in Patterson about having to take on another job in retirement in order to continue to live in the city where she grew up and where she raised her kids. It's the firefighter living in Berkeley Heights with a newborn who's going to have to pay as much for child care as he does for his mortgage. Or the single mom who had to pull her kids out of school and move to a different town because she can't make rent. These are the struggles that keep families up at night. And for far too long, career politicians have promised to do something about it. But nothing seems to change in New Jersey, and I've had enough. I was trained to focus on the mission at hand, and I've never backed down from a challenge. Here's how I'll tackle our state's cost of living crisis. We can't begin to make New Jersey more affordable until we make housing more affordable. I'll focus on lowering housing costs and building more homes so our kids can afford to move back here as young adults, and our seniors can retire in the communities they love. I'll start by converting old, underutilized commercial spaces into homes. I'll streamline the state's permitting process to unlock economic growth and address our shortage faster. I'll work with towns to build a larger range of housing options like workforce housing and missing middle housing and support first-time homebuyers. And I'll crack down on negligent landlords and predatory investors who try to rip off families and don't take care of their buildings. This summer, New Jerseyans will see their energy bills go up, while regional grid operators controlled by big oil and gas CEOs continue to stall low-cost, clean energy projects that would save us money. We need to take control of our clean energy future in New Jersey. So I'm thinking big, with a plan to invest in cheap, innovative clean energy projects like solar. We can use state properties for this, like closed landfills, New Jersey transit facilities, carports, or rooftops. I'll demand accountability from our regional grid operators to bring clean energy projects online faster, because years of delays are simply unacceptable and cost us money. My administration is going to take action to increase our state's energy supply, lower utility bills, and reduce our carbon footprint. We also know that folks are struggling with high taxes. Families and businesses continue to leave the Garden State in order to keep more of their hard-earned dollars in their wallets. My agenda will help keep people here by providing tax relief. I'll help municipalities and school districts finally unlock the potential of shared resources, like municipal courts, animal control, and other departments. I'll expand the state's child tax credit, because when we did that at the federal level, it cut child poverty in half and lowered the cost of living for so many parents. But we can't just nibble around the edges. I'll take on one of the largest drivers of increased property taxes, rising health care costs that counties and municipalities must pay through independent third-party auditing of state health benefits program claims and clawback overpayments. This will save money for families and municipalities. I hear up and down the state that our health care system is not working for anyone, which is why I'll be laser focused on lowering health care costs. I'll improve transparency in healthcare pricing so you know what you're paying for before getting a procedure done. I'll expand access to primary care through innovative delivery models like mobile clinics and partnerships between health systems and schools, so healthcare needs are addressed early and in the most cost-effective setting. And I'll lower prescription drug prices by cracking down on pharmacy benefit managers, the middlemen of the drug industry who drive up prescription drug prices by up to 10 times their original cost just to boost their profits. One of the greatest investments we can make is in our children. As a mother of 4, I know parents have to juggle a lot. Daycare, after-school programs, school supplies, lunches. Simply put, families are facing a ton of financial pressure. I'll give family budgets some breathing room by expanding the child care workforce and increasing the number of slots available. I'll increase mental health counseling and high-impact tutoring in schools at no cost to parents. And I'll support community schools, which offer before and after-school programs, health services, parent learning, and more. As a mom of 4 teenagers, I buy a lot of groceries. It seems like every time I go to pay at the supermarket, I'm spending twice as much for half a cart full. I'm determined to lower food prices by giving incentives to local grocers to increase competition in the market. I'll work with New Jersey's farmers to strengthen our ag industry and the produce that defines the Garden State. And my Attorney General will take on the large corporations that price gouge consumers to turn a profit. My affordability agenda is about making New Jersey work for working people. So as Trump and Musk try to rip us off to line their own pockets, I'm focused on giving New Jerseyans a fair shot. Because I know the difference between saying and doing. And I also know that New Jersey's families deserve better than empty promises and superficial solutions. I was named New Jersey's most effective House lawmaker because I deliver results. Making New Jersey more affordable is one of the most important tasks we can undertake. And as your governor, lowering cost and building opportunity is my top priority for New Jersey families. So thank you again for being here. I'm looking forward to sharing this plan with New Jerseyans all across the state. Let's get to work.